Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, Worldwide Privacy Tour. That's right, Hank and Skank back in the news. As you know, I took a few days away. I kept posting videos, so maybe you didn't know. But it's nice to be catching up on the news on these two, and boy, is there some news. So the first thing that I noticed that came out, I gotta love the headline here. It's Daily Mail, and it says, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle labeled, quote, Hollywood Nobodies by royal author after they didn't attend Oscar parties. So basically, they're speculating that they were not included in any Oscar festivities, which I can't stand Hollywood, so whatever. But it does seem like the kind of thing that they would be itching to go to since they like to surround themselves with celebrities. A lot of people were finding it funny that they didn't, again, allegedly, supposedly, get an invite to Elton John's party. Because if they had, they would have been there standing next to the photographer, posing up a storm. It'd be another excuse to spend way too much money. Which brings us to these photos, speaking of stage paparazzi and spending way too much money. So she's being called out for allegedly staging her own paparazzi photos. What? You don't all pose like this when a paparazzi sneaks up on you and happens to know where you're having lunch? Sure. So let's see. Entertainment Tonight is claiming she was sporting a $12,500 outfit, as you do when you're out for brunch and being caught off guard by the paparazzi. But guys, she doesn't have any history at all of I can't even get through that without laughing, of calling the paparazzi on herself. I mean, that wouldn't be a thing that she does, right? Especially since she took a hard stance against her father for the paparazzi photos and ended up cutting him out of her life. She would never do that, right? And speaking of never doing that, something these two would never do is cause a headache for the royal family. Oh, wait. Daily Mail put out an article speculating that Harry and Meghan are sabotaging King Charles's plan for a slimmed-down monarchy. How are they doing this? By giving their kids the titles. Now, if you ask me, they're just all about money hungry and all about the titles, so I think it was just an added bonus for them to screw with King Charles. So according to the article, Prince Harry's decision to give his children titles may have disrupted King Charles's vision for the royal family. The king may yet have a trick up his sleeve. A couple days after the announcement from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, that their children, Archie and Lilibet, would be known as Prince and Princess, Buckingham Palace announced Prince Edward would be promoted to Duke of Edinburgh. P.S. I love that. So Prince Edward was promoted to Duke of Edinburgh, so Sophie became Duchess of Edinburgh, and I love it because now technically she outranks Meghan and no longer has to curtsy to her. Everything I hear about Sophie behind the scenes is she's a wonderful person, and the poor thing has been stuck a million times in a car with Meghan. And she seems to think it's dreadful. And it would be. What the heck would what would you talk to her about in the car? Oh, it'd be tense and awful. Poor Sophie. So the Daily Mail expert explains that there were a lot of back and forth with the decision as Edinburgh is a capital city. They weren't sure. Should they give it to him? Should they not? But then when Dumb and Dumber, Harry and Meghan started using the Prince and Princess titles for their children, it became clear that slimmed down monarchy that King Charles was discussing just wasn't happening. So the article goes on to explain what happened is King Charles insisted that the Edinburgh title reverts back to the crown when Edward passes away. However, the king has shown he has an ace up his sleeve when it comes to his son's actions. He continued, I've heard it said that part of the reason that the king wants to stop Archie inheriting the title Duke of Sussex, so this might be part of that. So he now has set that precedent. So I think these two are led around by their egos, their titles, their wallets, and no regard for other people, especially family members. So I think the article is kind of giving them too much credit that they don't deserve. But they are calculating, well, she is. I think he's just eating crayons and being led around by her. So maybe it's part of it. I think it's just a happy side effect for them that they can mess with King Charles and his plans for the slim down monarchy. I think that's just a bonus. I think it's more about well, getting their kids titles and keeping the paychecks rolling in. So I love to jump in the comments after that. So I jumped in the Daily Mail comments and found things like this. Read my book, wah! But the kids will never be HRH, and that's what they really want. Not as slim as it would be if I was in charge. And I thought King Charles said he wanted a slim down monarchy, and now we have 2 extra with a prince and princess living abroad. Ridiculous. I know it's been said, but I'm just so struck with the hypocrisy of these 2, and I don't know why I'm surprised anymore, but of going on Oprah and saying that the color of Archie's skin dictates that he wouldn't have a title, and yet here we are. Here we are. So she won't walk that back. She won't even acknowledge that she straight up lied to everybody about it. That's just what they do. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed or I'll put the Meghan claw on you like this. I'll pull you away in the middle of a conversation. I wish that lady wasn't in the way of this shot, but I'm kind of obsessed with it. He's going to shake hands with somebody, but she can't let go of his hand long enough to let him do that. Nice, huh? Not at all controlling. Always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm loving the deep dives on Lady C's book, so check those out. Yesterday's was real juicy. Had a lot of people chiming in the comments as to whether or not there could be the possibility of a hypothetical tape of a certain Markle floating around on the internet. So check that out, and just thanks so much for being here. Have the best day, and I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.